Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
We've got someone on the telephonic device today. Robert, please do the
We have
introductions.
indeed. A man who probably should introduce himself because he's on pretty good terms with himself, Rossi McFarlane. How are you today, mate?
Good, thank you, sir, Mr. Stick Cameron.
Now, rather than me tell everyone how good you are, why don't you just let forth, how good a golfer are you, Ross?
You know I don't like bragging.
No, of course not. Hey, I'll tell you what, there's an old saying, revenge is a meal best served cold. And I want to remind you of an article that was written in the Geelong Advertiser by Ryan Reynolds back before Christmas. He named the best 20 golfers in the region, and your name wasn't on the list. I do notice that, Ross, that Ryan Reynolds doesn't work at the Addy anymore, so you got him.
I got him all right, mate. I got him the sack.
Yeah, well done.
He clearly doesn't know what he's talking about, that's for sure.
I can remember. Look, I don't see you upset very often, but you were very upset that day. You were going through the list of blokes on there that you'd beaten him here and you'd beaten him there, and he's no good, he's a dud, I beat him at the Open, and you weren't even on the list. It must have been gut-wrenching for you.
It wasn't nice. It was disappointing, especially when my mate Tony Milne texted me and said, Ross, you didn't make the top 20. And he actually sent an email to Ryan Reynolds and sort of give him a bit of a payout.
Ross, it's Neil here, and we've obviously never met. You can't be much of a golfer. Rob tells me you're kicking around in the 70s as you score. I get 120 every time. I'm so much better than you.
Well, no, you get your money's worth, that's for sure.
And I'll put it to you, I've seen more of the golf course than you have too.
Yeah, well, it's a good way to work out things.
Yeah, absolutely, and see I've seen parts of the world that you've never seen.
No, that's true. I mean, that's why they put the middle of the fairway down the middle.
I've often wondered what that's there, that fairway for, because I hit it to the fairway to the left and the fairway to the right.
Well, no, that's good.
You can use that one, Ross, in future. Hey, listen, mate. Before you got closed off, what was the handicap on?
It was ridiculous with this new system. I was on -1.
-1.
Yes.
So that means you're better than par.
Yes, and I can't understand it. Like, I'm 67 years of age, and I thought, well, the way the handicap's, I thought, well, I should be off about 4. But the new system, the way it goes, yeah, I'm off -1.
Now, I don't work. How can you be minus?
Yeah, well, I don't know either. It's this new system that's come out, and I must admit I had been playing pretty well at times. I've had some good scores. And the scores, reflect your handicap, I suppose.
Now, I'm getting into delicate territory here because I've got two blokes that I'm talking to at the moment, you and Rob, who are both, you've admitted to having a 6 at the start of your age. I haven't got to that stage yet. One of the things that golfers at your vintage start to talk about is the number of times they've had a round of golf where they've scored off the stick less than their age. Have you done that yet?
Yes, I've done that a few times, yes. Very fortunate, yep.
Yeah, because I'd obviously have to go around in 38.
You have actually you've done less than. When did you first do it? How old were you?
I was 65 and I shot 64 down at Barn Valley.
64. And how'd you go on the second 9?
The second 9 I shot.
That is extraordinary, old fella, really. Now, the other thing that was noticed last week in the news, I noticed they didn't let you on the camera, but you were with Sam Newman on the steps of Parliament House whinging about not being able to play golf. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. I was there with Sammy.
Yeah. You must be doing it tough, though, mate, because you love golf more than any person that I know. It must be really tough for you at the moment.
Well, really not so much tough for me, but my poor wife. She wants to know, can't you go and play golf? Yeah. She loves it when I'm out there playing golf.
Are you doing any more jobs around the house? I found out that you learned how to unpack the dishwasher and put the plates away. Is that right?
Yes, but mate, I put them in the wrong place.
Okay.
Intentionally, or?
That should have been there, and that one should have been over there.
Have you learned to pack the dishwasher yet?
I pack it. Oh.
Like put the dirty ones in there. Can you do that?
Oh, yeah, she showed me. Yeah, she showed me how to do that.
Ironing?
There's another little thing that you put in there, like a a tablet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It must be sick, is it? And you close it, and then it gets better.
The dishes are sick.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
And I've actually done that a few times, forgetting to put that tablet in. They don't come out all that clean, I've got to say. So that's a little tip for you.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Now, one thing that we, Rob and I, are both keen to get some thoughts on is there's a young fellow we have seen play a bit of footy called Dane McFarlane, who is well known to you.
Yes.
How's he going with his footy at the minute?
Well, no.
Well, he's obviously not playing, clearly.
No, he's doing a bit of training, and I must admit I did take him up to the park and kick the ball with him, and he kicked a couple of goals. And but he's hyperactive. He just can't stop doing things. So if it's not footy, he wants to have a practice in the nets, or he'll go out and hit a golf ball in my lounge room. Well, not a real golf ball, but a plastic thing. So yeah, just watch out.
He'll be back with the Tigers this year.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's if they start.
Yeah, yeah. So he's obviously run into a fairly well-known and pretty strong footy brain in Mark Williams as his senior coach.
Yeah.
Have you seen any change in the way he played his footy last year, or in the way he approaches his footy?
It's well, I don't want to be negative, but Dano's a bit of a running player, and they've sort of, well, I don't know whether anyone has stopped him, but he doesn't seem to do that running play anymore. Like, it's I used to love watching him running down the wing and having a couple of bounces and kicking a goal. Like, now he is down at the back line, but
It's a bit boring now, is it, watching him?
well, no, even if he only gets one kick, I still enjoy watching him. Yeah.
Every time we broadcast, as you probably know, Rob and I do a bit of VFL broadcasting, and the couple of times that we've broadcast a Werribee game together, if he has mentioned once that he knows Dane McFarlane's dad, he's mentioned it 50 times.
Well, yeah, Snick and I did play. We played cricket together, old Snick, and he's a bit of a legend around Mottawarri. But
well, he's certainly a legend in this studio. Just ask
I
him.
want to tell you, I've played cricket for 50 years, and I've been sledged by some rippers, and I've been sledged by no one better than my teammate Ross McFarlane. He has hauled me over the coals often, actually. It's quite humorous.
Well, I can remember when I played a bit of vets cricket. I remember turning up at the club I was playing at, and they said to me, "Mate, now we need to talk to you about sledging. It is compulsory. We frown heavily on you doing it to the opposition.
yes,
But absolutely, you are out there to bag your teammates as much as you possibly can." And I knew I was in.
I love doing that. It was beautiful. Like, it was magnificent. I can remember playing with my brother Kevin, and I said, "Kev, move over a little bit." And I said, "Your job is to bring $10 and bring the sandwiches." And he said, when is it my chance to get a bowl, he says. I said, "Mate, you just hang on." Well, this guy made 200 and something. There was about 2 hours to go. I said, "Kev, you can have a bowl now." My brother got him out. He said, "Why didn't you bring me an earlier?" And he give him one over.
It's a funny game, cricket.
Yeah. No, well, I knew I was in a good place with the vets when I walked out to bat for the first time. I walked past the fieldsman at square leg who had a stubby and a cigarette, and I thought, This is a team that doesn't take their cricket terribly serious.
No, that's dead right. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, Roscoe, yeah, practising your golf, because I have a fear that at 67, if you lose it, you might never get it back.
No, well, mate, you've always told me, it's just like riding a bike. You never forget how to do it. Like, I am practising in the lounge room and hitting the ball like a little rubber ball. It doesn't go very far, but it's, just with a little 8-iron and hit it into the wall and it bounces back to you.
What about the flexibility of the ageing body? You're going to be able to do the big drives after all this, or is everything starting to ache a bit more?
Mate, no, I hit it longer now than I ever did.
Really?
Absolutely, because I was never a long hitter, and I've stayed the same. I'm still not a long hitter, but I used to use a 3-wood. Now I'm able to use a driver.
Well, you continue to defy logic. There's a lot about you that's not normal, and people will have found that out already this morning. But to be playing golf at -1 at the age of 67 is remarkable, and full credit to you. You're a lunatic, but you're a passionate one, and we've got to admire you for that.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
No, that was a compliment.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, good man.
I only know one other bloke who I've ever heard of on the negative ones, and he also played a little bit of cricket as well. Not locally. His name was Ricky Ponting.
Oh, Ricky Ponting, yeah, right.
Yeah, he went all right at the game. Both games, as a matter of fact.
he strikes the ball pretty well, there, Ricky. I think he hits a fair way. Yeah.
No, listen, your good friend Brendan Forsman said some nice things about you an hour and a half ago. Would you like to return serve, or isn't he much of a bloke, really?
No, he's a lovely fella, Brendan Forsman, a great fella. And, yeah, I've got a lot of time for Forsy. He does a lot of good things around the district and, you know, good family man. And
Yeah, he's a good fella.
yeah, good fella.
And he must have been a pretty handy golfer.
He was very good, like a good cricketer and a good golfer. And, yeah, he won the district foursomes a few times with Kevin Noe, you know. So, no, Forsy, a good golfer.
So change his name from Foursomes to Forceman.
Yeah, that's right.
Working beautifully for this time.
Working beautifully. Roscoe, thank you so much. Continue to do what you do, but please just go easy on loans. She's got it tough enough as it is without having to put up with you at home all the time. Just do a few jobs and help her out, will you?
Yeah, well, no, I've got it. She told me to start doing the gardening. I said, well, you just show me how to do it. So she's out there, she's done it, and now I said, now I don't have to do it. But no, she's a gun.
She is a gun, all right, for putting up with you. Stay happy, young fella. We'll be in touch later in the year when the golfing gets back on, because I want to know if you've still got it.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. No, you're a good man. We'll have a game together.
We will indeed. We'll do that again. Well, this time we'll play the whole course instead of walking off after 6 holes.
No, that's fair enough, mate. No, you were already about 3 or 4 under, so you didn't want to destroy the course.
I'll come with you and we'll play literally the whole course.
Okay, that'd be lovely.
Good to meet you.
See you, buddy.
This is mine.
Cheers.
All right, mate. Thanks a lot.
Ross McFarlane, a fine man. He is a complete and utter lunatic. He said on the cricket ground one day, I was bowling, and he was fielding at mid-off, and he said, hold the line. We've got a message from the rooms. Hold the line. The captain of the batting side wants to know if you can bowl from both ends. That's the sort of teammate he is.
Yeah.
No help at all.
Yeah, I just he sounds like the sort of bloke that every club needs to have, and he sounds like a good fella to have round.
He's a good fella to have around.